It is Tuesday, February 13th in the NBA, and my three favorite picks are on the way. What's going on, everyone? It's Logan from Calling Our Shot. Let's talk about yesterday because I really want to bring out the brooms one time before Austin, comes back from his honeymoon. But unfortunately, we have to settle for a 2-in-1 day. Let's talk about the picks. We had Bucks on the money line. That's too easy. Yeah, that one was a blowout. When you see Thanasis come in, your bet cash. So luckily we had that one. Continues to spread and total picks 3-0 on those. I have two spread/total picks today, for us today. So hopefully we can continue rolling with those. We also had Darius Garland points. That one was pretty easy as well, pretty sweat free. The only thing I was sweating was the bump for everyone that had him at 16.5. I was like, oh, please get another basket. Don't end on 16. And sure enough, he came through for everybody there. Now, our only loss of the night. Damn, James Harden. Oh my gosh, man. He hit a buzzer beater three at the end of the first half, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is so chalked. He had 14 first half points, all for him to end with 17 on the hook. We had his under, obviously, and that was just a brutal one. Brutal. It still kind of felt like the right bet. Minnesota just didn't play him as well as I thought they were going to. It's just tough. That's kind of how, NBA player props work. But I really do like the card today. I really think we're going to stand a really good chance of getting the 3-0, hopefully at least one time before Austin returns from his honeymoon after the All-Star break. But speaking of Austin, he's got a player prop for us today, and this is going to be his play of the day. And him and I talked about it. It's Anthony Edwards, over 25.5 points, minus 113 odds on FanDuel, currently your best value there. Now, we would probably play this one up to 26.5 if that's going to be the bump, because you know what? Our DubClub /COS All-Stars, they get these lines early, and what they do, especially on a volatile book like FanDuel bumps it right up to 26.5. So you know what? If you want to join the DubClub, there is a link in the description for that to kind of avoid the bumps. Because honestly, there's nothing more annoying to me than when you follow these handicappers and they're throwing out lines and you're like, my line's different. Yeah, I've been there, and that's you have to kind of like get the lines before they move, especially on volatile books. But let's talk about this one. The Timberwolves head to Portland after a 2-game series. For a 2-game series versus the Blazers, their final 2 games before the All-Star break. Yesterday in that Wolves game, the scene of the crime where James Harden, hurt us. The Timberwolves 21-point victory versus the Clippers. Anthony Edwards scored 23 points, shot 7 for 7 on 2-pointers, which is great. But 1 for 11 on 3-pointers, obviously terrible there. He also was benched in the final 4 minutes due to a blowout. Now today, the Wolves find themselves as 8.5-point favorites. It wouldn't surprise me if the T-Wolves came out slow and if the Blazers could mess around and make this game competitive. You obviously got the back end of a back-to-back for the Timberwolves in this one. Could they come out a little bit slow and lethargic? Yes, we've seen it all season long on teams playing back-to-back. They're not as sharp on that second game. This season, Anthony Edwards is averaging 25.8 points per game. He's over this line in 58% of games played. He's over this line in 7 of 9 games on the road as well, typically stepping up his play while his role players don't play as well, away from home. Anthony Edwards usually does carry more of a load. And as noted earlier, Edwards shot terrible from 3 last game, going 1 for 11. Despite that, the books have his over 2.5 threes made line juiced to minus 165 or worse, signifying that he bounces back tonight. Sometimes you get little breadcrumbs on those 3-point made lines. How do the books expect him, to fare? I obviously do expect him to bounce back from 3, and yesterday consider more of it an anomaly. This season, Edwards has made 3+ threes in 22 games, hitting his over in 17 of 22. That's 77% of the time with an average of 30 points per game. Also, Edwards has 18+ field goal attempts in 9 out of his last 10 games. This season, Edwards is over in 82% of games with 18+ shots. So if the volume's there, he should be in line, to hit this over for us today. And the last note, the matchup, the Blazers aren't great defensively. Edwards has scored 40, 26, 17, 32, 37, and 9 points in his last 6 versus Portland. Over this line in 4 out of 6 of those games. His 2 misses saw him shoot 16 and 9 times. I like the volume there tonight, and against a team that I really don't think can stop him. Let's hope the Blazers can keep this game close, and we should stand a really good chance at cashing. It's also could cash in the third quarter because Anthony Edwards normally plays the whole third quarter regardless of the score. So we really do like Anthony Edwards to go over his line. This is kind of like a co-signed Austin's pick. It was a play that he's like, I really like this. It would be my play of the day if he was making the video. He did sneak away from his honeymoon for just a minute. He's weirdly enough off the grid, so you can't really reach him these days. But he did text me that he likes Anthony Edwards. He's like, help with the research. And I think this one's, really, a really strong case for a player prop. It's our only player prop of the day because you know what? I want to test the hot streak. I want to continue to see if we're going to be red hot on spreads because we haven't lost one. Knock on wood. Let's go to a spread pick. I'm taking the Brooklyn Nets plus 8.5, minus 110 odds on BetMGM. This line opened at 9.5, but it's been bet down slightly. I wouldn't play this line much more, much below 8.5. Like, let's just say we're crazy and we move lines like that. I don't think calling our shots that big to move spread lines like that, but we could. And I would be very cautious to play that. What I would rather do is just, live bet this thing because you know what? That's the advantage you have with spreads. But let's talk about this one because actually, weirdly enough, I mentioned the line opening at 9.5. I'll tell you right now, the public is on Boston. That should be no shock. People love blindly betting the Celtics, and you know what? I'm fading the Celtics here, and I'm going to do it with some confidence. This is the first matchup between these two teams since November. Boston's covered in both matchups, winning by 10 and 14 in those two games. So double-digit wins for the Celtics. But Brooklyn is a different team this time around, and I just think this is too many points to pass up for the home underdog. Boston is not good against the spread. Look, they're 1-7 against the spread over the last 8. Laying points with them is nasty. Now, I'm not saying Brooklyn, is a world beater when it comes to spread. They're not. But to lay that many points on the road, to lay 9 points with the Celtics on the road is just like, that's just asking for trouble. Kristaps Porzingis was listed on the injury report. He's questionable for this game. Obviously, for our bet, we kind of like him to not be in there. Doesn't really change my mind, though, if he's in or out. Brooklyn has been respectable at home this season. 15, 12, and 2 against the spread at home, so slightly profitable there. Boston has not been profitable on the road. Road favorite role this year, 9, 12, and 2, only covering 43% of the time on the road favorite role. That's where they find themselves today. The Nets are a team to play up to their competition in this spot. I just think this is one of those games that you look and I think there's certain teams that have targets on their back. Like we've been fading the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets are a team with a target on their back, as are the Celtics. People want, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I think the Nets want to hang around and show that they can play with the Celtics. Ben Simmons wasn't on the court in November, that matchup. The Nets still had Dinwiddie, Royce O'Neal at the time. Rolls Royce. They had the guys like that. This team looks slightly different this time around. And what you want about Ben Simmons, he's still a good playmaker. He still gives him size. And obviously limiting Tatum and Brown will be the key to this one. The Nets have plenty of scoring options to kind of counteract that. Like Tatum and Brown will get theirs. No doubt about that. You're not going to shut them down completely. But I think the Nets still have plenty of opportunities to cover this spread for us. We look at Boston. They're only hitting 33.7% from three over their last 5 games. That's 24th in the NBA. That's really what would scare me in this one. If Boston could run and hide via the three-pointer, because, when it rains, it pours. That's how you look up at the scoreboard and you're down 15 real quick. I think we haven't really seen great shooting from three from Boston recently. And over the last 2 seasons, Mikal Bridges averages 20 points against Boston. Cam Thomas had 27 against Boston in November. I think guys like that can help us backdoor cover the spread and make this game competitive. Rebounding also should decide the cover. Brooklyn's 6th best in offensive rebounding per game. Boston's 27th in offensive rebounds allowed per game. So second chance points, could definitely be, deciding factor, especially in a spread like this. Can Brooklyn just get a few to go their way? I think so. And I think Brooklyn will make this game competitive. I really do like the Nets today. I'm not calling them out on the money line. That's ambitious. But I do think the plus 8.5 is just too many points to be laying with a bad covering Celtics team right now. If the Celtics make me look stupid, they make me look stupid. But I really do think the Brooklyn Nets are a good bet to make. So let's go to our last pick in this one. It's going to be a team total. So we're continuing with the game picks. in this one. And you guys see what I'm wearing. Taking the Orlando Magic team total over 110.5 points, minus 115 odds on Bet365. Your best value there. Now, if you're looking for FanDuel, weirdly enough, FanDuel's kind of stupid. They're slow to release team total lines, but DraftKings does have this 110.5 line. If FanDuel, just be patient. They'll come out with it soon. But I would play this line probably up to 111.5. Hopefully all these books can open at the 110.5 line, though. So if you're just kind of waiting around, hopefully that we don't get crazy movement on this one. But we'll see, because, if you look at, the total in this game, it opened to 229.5. And since it's shifted all the way down to 223.5, I've even seen 224. So we've got kind of crazy movement in there. But if you look at the Thunder, let's start with OKC. They have allowed opponents to go over this line in 4 out of their last 5 road games. So the hit rate has been there. And I believe we're getting some value on the home underdog here. If you'd rather bet Magic spread, Magic plus like 3 or 3.5, I support that too. If you're not really into, like, if over-unders make you nervous, a lot of people, it does make them nervous. But if you're one of those people, you just rather be a spread better, I support that one, because if the Thunder blow them out, I don't really see that one coming. Let's talk about the Magic. They're not the best offensive team. Their metrics and all their rankings are not that great, but the Thunder should make them play a little bit faster, as OKC is 12th in pace. We saw Orlando play down in pace to Chicago. they play at a snail's pace. They're 30th in pace, but they scored 127 against a fast-playing team like the Spurs, who are third best in terms of pace. So I'm expecting OKC to speed up Orlando today. And if you speed up Orlando, I think that kind of lends itself more to a track meet. We saw earlier when these two teams played, they went well under this line. I think we're kind of seeing an adjustment for this one, because the books know some points could certainly be coming. The Thunder also, they give up the 3. OKC is 25th in opponents' 3-point made per game. Orlando's offense is good, fifth in 3-point made per game. So we're going to need guys like, Franz Wagner, Suggs, and Banchero to have some good looks from 3, and I think they will. Hopefully they fall. Again, we can't go out and make them for them, but I think those guys should definitely be in line and get some good looks today. OKC also allows a team like Orlando to get to the line. OKC's defense is 24th in opponents' free throws attempted per game. So again, not a great offense. Orlando is not a juggernaut when it comes to scoring at all. They're pretty bottom of the barrel. But I like this spot because I just can see them getting some good looks from 3. I could also see them getting to the line in a streaky shooting team like Orlando. If they're getting to the line, they're getting some points via the free throw. I'm pretty happy with that. Last point of note. If you're like Logan, I come to this channel for player props. I don't really like picking games. All right, well, I'm a game pick type guy, because in baseball season, that's really primarily what I do. So I analyze games from a spread/totals point of view. But a player prop that I would like in this game is Franz Wagner, is points over. It's pretty damn square. But he's averaging 28 points per game over his last 5. That could be a good player prop look. If you're like, Logan, I need a prop in this game. I just know the minute I come on here and pick a Franz Wagner game, it's going to be a Banchero game, and I'm going to once again guess wrong, and Franz Wagner is going to shoot terribly. So hopefully, we're kind of, hedging our bets here. I think Orlando makes this game competitive. I think, they take the Thunder right down to the wire. I do think they get up and over that 110.5 team total that we need. So 111 or more for the Orlando Magic. It would be really cool if they play the song tonight. Everyone knows the song. Go sing it down in the comments. But that'll do it for the picks today. Let's do a quick recap of what we had. We had Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, over 25.5 points. That's Austin's player prop of the day. We have Brooklyn Nets plus 8.5. We also have the Orlando Magic team total over 110.5. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully we can bring out the brooms. Let's get a 3-0 sweep, or let's at least bare minimum continue the profit run. This has been Logan. I'll see you guys tomorrow.